Hello, I am Lise Colucci, and I'm one of the life coaches at queenbeing.com, where we help you to discover, understand, overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. Hello, everyone. Hello, Karina, and whoever else is joining us. Hello, hello. So, today let's talk. Oh, look, it just sent my alert. So people will probably come in late today, but that's okay. So, hello, hi, Katrina and Karina. Here we go. I'm waiting for this delay. There it goes. Is it still delaying? It is. All right, fixed. Okay, today let's talk about balance, finding balance after narcissistic abuse. So first off, hi, Svenusha. Head over to queenbeing.com if you need any help with finding information for narcissistic abuse, for recovery from narcissistic abuse. If you need information or resources for coaching help, head over there. You can find me there, queenbeing.com. And if you need some information on group coaching, bear in mind it starts tomorrow for this month. You can join at any time, but the month starts tomorrow, so it's kind of nice to come in all together. Anyway, and there's information in the main description of every video for that. So let's get on to today's topic, which is balance. Okay. So if you want to know your own power and overcome toxic abuse, hit the subscribe button and let's get going on this journey of healing. Okay, you guys, I got James and Karina and Vicky and Katrina and Christy and Leslie and Svenusha. Hello, hello. Okay, balance, balance. We flip to the balance page. So what happens when you're with a narcissist, right? Your life becomes about them. Your whole world revolves around them. Oh, before I keep going, this is going to be an abbreviated talk today. I have to get out of here by 2:00. So just so we know ahead of time. So if any questions, go ahead and throw them in there if you need it. Anyway, so let's keep going. So anyway, the narcissist, right? Because of the way the manipulation happens and because of their need for supply and the high need they have to be the center of everybody's world, your life becomes about them. Your life revolves around them, and the balance of your life gets completely thrown off kilter, right? There is no balance. There is only living for the narcissist. So when you are out of that relationship, or if you're struggling to get out, or if you're still in it and you think, my gosh, where is there balance in my life? I feel like I'm drowning under this. Yeah, this is why. Okay, because you've been with a toxic person, a toxic taker, right? You've been with a black hole of energy sucking toxicity. Okay. And they are a vacuous pit of emotional drain, right? So what's left with that? I mean, that's not exaggerating. It's me being a little silly about it, but it's totally real. They're completely draining, and your life becomes so far out of balance, and it's very challenging to figure out how to put it back into place. So, number one, figure out where you're out of balance. All right. Figure out what's going on. Journal it. Write down the different areas of your life. You can write down, my mind, my mental areas of my mind. What do I need from my mind? What's going on? What am I feeding my mind with? First of all, most likely it's narcissistic abuse recovery. What other things am I feeding it with? Am I only doing this one thing for my mind? Where's the balance there? Okay. My heart, my emotions. How am I receiving love? How am I giving love? It may feel like there isn't any to receive or give, but there's always some to receive or give. Okay. Because you could just use nature or a pet or an old friend or yourself as the source and, for the give and take. So it's always there. We just have to, you sent a Facebook Messenger question. I don't know if I can check it while I'm talking. I can try. Leslie, I don't know if I can. I can try. So your mind and your heart and your body. What part of your body is out of balance? What part of, are you eating well? Are you hydrating? Are you exercising? Are you, things like that? Like, what are you doing for your body? The plant behind me is blowing and that's distracting me. Okay. think about all the areas of your life: emotional, creative, your work life, the activities you choose, being outdoors, being indoors, right? Being alone, being around other people, social, things like that. Just look at your life as a whole, your spiritual life, and see where, number one, where in each area. In a journal, you can really make a page for each thing and just see where you're putting most of your time and energy. If all your time and energy is going into healing, it's exhausting. Of course, you're feeling out of balance, right? But if all your mental energy isn't, then you're not draining, you're not, pouring everything into one thing and getting completely out of balance. So within each category, you can find a type of balance by, well, doing things, integrating new things. If it's for your mind, learning something new at the same time as you're learning about this stuff, learning something new at work so that you're incorporating another area of your life as well. It's really, we get so overwhelmed, we don't break our lives down and look at it, right? Everything becomes too big a picture and it becomes a wash. Like it's just too much. So if anybody has anything to say, you can just chime in. Guys are quiet today. And you can go off topic as well. I don't have a really long thing to say here. So anything you need today, hit me up. Hello, Bonnie. So some areas, so once you look at the whole picture of what you got going on, then you can see which areas you're putting all your focus into as well. Like you may not be getting outside very much. And nature is really important for all human beings. We're natural creatures, right? We need to be in nature, regardless of whether we know it or not. We really do. Hi, Debbie. In some way or another. And that can even mean bringing nature into you. It can just, there's many ways to get that if you're not an outdoorsy person. But hi, Anna. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Let's see. So setting goals. So once you have an overview of what's going on, and maybe you say, okay, I am spending far too much time alone and I don't have anything in the social category. Set some goals for yourself, long-term goals and short-term goals. Like whatever the category is, whatever the area is where you feel you're out of balance, because you know more than anyone else where the balance is out of balance. I know, I was like, okay. Then once you set some goals and then you start to create some plans for how to make some changes. This is all self-actualized, right? No one's going to do it for us. So we got to find the balance, seek it out, set the goals, make a plan. But until you know what you're looking at, it's overwhelming, right? So break it down. All right. I find myself struggling to balance the feeling of guilt for being so at peace without my mom in my life. I'm so at peace being no contact, and that somehow feels wrong. It's interesting that you see that as balance. It is, isn't it? It's two sides of the same thing, like something that is sad and something that is peaceful at the same time. So first of all, know you're not alone in that feeling. That's the no contact, especially with a parent, is very difficult. And there's a lot of social stigma that goes around it. There's a lot of society telling you you're supposed to, they're your parent, you're supposed to love them at all costs. You're supposed to stick by them. You're supposed to take care of them, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of that going on. And what we have to remember is that we can't live a life with somebody draining us to the point where our life is all about them and the drain that they're causing on our life. So it's sort of like they've made their own bed and now they must lie in it. Sadly, that is the guilt that we have to live with, is something to look at. So I would ask what your beliefs are around it, where the beliefs are coming into play. And one of the things I have on here is to pay attention to your limiting beliefs. We've talked about this a lot, and I did a whole talk on it last week. Look at your limiting beliefs and start really working with them, because they're throwing you way off balance. Our limiting beliefs are sucking the joy out of our life, and they're stopping us from forward motion. So figure out what the beliefs are around that particular guilt, and see if you can get some perspective around it, some change in perspective around it, so that you can see it from way farther back, not so close up as if it's happening to you right now, but something farther back, or even like as if it was happening to someone else. What would it look like? How would you see it? Have some compassion for yourself at the same time. So that's what I would suggest there, with finding balance in that and creating it's like that guilt takes away our ability to have the compassion for ourselves, I think, don't you? So maybe stepping back and seeing the bigger picture, seeing it. If this were coaching, I could do some NLP exercises to help with that, to show you, but I can't really do it without talking in person. So, but really it's a perspective shift. Does that make sense? All right. Hi, Bonnie. I'm at peace being no contact with my 90-year-old narc mom. Almost 1 year. I feel sad at times, but at this point, yeah. Oh, yeah. It takes a while. Hi, Kay Kobe and Angela. All right. Have more compassion for yourself in order to balance out their evil intentions. That's right. We have to, because first of all, you're not only having to have the compassion that everybody has to have for oneself, but you're having to throw in there reparenting yourself at the same time. So there's like that maternal nurturing compassion that you didn't get from a narcissistic mother, that you're also having to apply to yourself internally, toward your inner child, toward your adult self, all the things that you didn't get. There's grief and there's sadness. And so, yeah, it's a lot different than just the regular old have compassion for yourself, right? More compassion is required. Hi, Christy. Let's see. I'm on a teeter-totter and need to find the balance. I'm still missing him and wanting to reach out. So many lows for the few highs. So if that's the case, go seek joy. Christy, your balance, it sounds like your balance is out of kilter in the feeling bad department versus the what's okay in life department. So go and actually look for it. Like you're on a scavenger hunt or you're on some adventure, looking for tiny, teeny joys and noticing them, because much of what changes our perspective in life from everything being terrible to things being okay is to even things being great, right? Is the ability to have gratitude for the moment. And to say you don't have gratitude, what? To say you don't have gratitude, I don't mean that like something's wrong with you, you don't have gratitude. What I mean is it's hard to recognize the things we actually are grateful for, because most of us have it, right? We just don't pay attention to having it in the moment while it's happening. So, when it's so out of balance in that way, Christy, it might work. It might help you a bit to go find things you enjoy in all the areas of your life. Look at your life as sections of your life. What makes me feel good to think about? What makes me feel good physically? What makes me feel good emotionally? What do I like to look at? What in nature can I go see? You guys, it's really important, I think, to get out away from our own heads sometimes, and nature is a place that can take it. It can take the energy, it can take the emotions. There's nothing personal, right? You just can be out in it and appreciate it for its beauty and for what it's giving back to you while you're pouring out yourself toward it. And it can be super healing. And if nothing else, you get a walk. If you don't like it, then you don't. There's all kinds of nature, though. I don't necessarily mean we'll have to be out there, for hours at a time alone in the woods. I just mean getting out, even a tree at the park, okay, a flower, a leaf, bringing flowers in the house. That's why we need it. It's very healing. It's very nurturing. It's nurturing without an emotional connection to another human being, which is super important when you're trying to learn self-care and self-love, because it's in the receiving and the appreciation of the things around us that we can learn to love ourselves, I think. Okay, farmer's market. That's great too, because that's kind of natural and where anywhere. I mean, the produce section at the grocery store, it doesn't matter. Just get the plants and yeah. All right. So what was I saying? Oh, finding the joys, finding that for yourself can help you bring some balance away. You're still going to feel the sad. We're not trying to sugarcoat it and pretend it isn't there. What we're trying to do is teach our brains to look for things that are positive as well, right? As well. We understand that things are bad, they suck, and they're horrible, and they're uncomfortable, and I hate them, right? But also, they're the good. There's the things I love, the things I appreciate, the beauty around me, the smells, the sights, all of it, right? That if we put our focus on both things, then you have a little more balance. Okay. So try it. Let me know if it works. All right. The abuse itself was all about changing my beliefs. Yes. It's like he came into my life just to prove what a worthless. Yep. And now the work is to undo it, right? And now the work is to remind ourselves or to tell ourselves or to teach ourselves for the first time that we are not these terrible things that they tell us we were, and to teach ourselves that we are valuable and worthwhile human beings, and it is not our fault that other people are abusive. Okay? Being in nature is one of the most reliable boosts to my emotional well-being. There is peace. There is, isn't it? It's very true. Right. I should do a whole thing about ways to be in nature. Hello, Robin. For me, it took some serious time to even think about balance. In the beginning, I was consumed with withdrawal feelings. Yeah, you see, this is a process. Okay, so let's start with the bottom. What I said at the very end and what I wrote here is remember that failure is part of this process. All right, it's not a bad thing. It's part of the balance. Part of the balance in life and in the self-discovery and in evolving is the failure. Yeah, it really is. But it's okay. We all feel that, and sometimes that really defeated feelings of that you're talking about there, Robin, are part of it's what makes us know we're not in balance when it's consuming, and it takes time to bring it back to a place of balance. So that's otherwise we wouldn't need to talk about it. Right? Kaylee is saying you always mention self-care. Yes, I do, which is what I consider showering and getting your hairs and nail done and grooming. What does it go deeper than that? Oh, Kaylee, it's so deep. It seriously is a lifestyle. Okay, it's not a thing we do. It's not a cutesy catchy thing that I do self-care. It's not that. All right. It's not, to me, it is not the manicures, the pedicures, the pampering is pampering. It's part of self-care. It's a little piece of the pie of the self-care. Self-care is taking the intention of how you treat yourself seriously, having intention for the goodness of your own well-being throughout your day. To me, that is real self-care. It's bringing it, well, I want to say real as if someone else's way isn't real, but I mean, it's a deeper level of self-care, at least to me. It's bringing in intention to that shower, okay? You don't just take a shower there, I did the self-care. Now I should feel better, but I don't. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it's like, oh, I just needed that. And other times it's, if you're doing it every day, how can it sustain itself without intention, right? So it's remembering to thank yourself for the time you spent on yourself, remembering to thank yourself for the meal you cooked for yourself, remembering that it matters whether you enjoy this experience or not, the way you would for someone else. So all that caregiving that you have inside of you that you're able to give to other people, and you can, right? Because most of us can give it to yourself, direct it towards yourself in ways throughout your day, in the things that you're already doing for yourself, and then add in the things that a little extras like the pedicures and the pampering types of things, and see where that takes you. I will go buy myself flowers for my kitchen and wine. Excellent. And when you do so, say thank you to yourself, please. Remember to thank yourself for the gift of both taking the time to do it and the placement of the flowers. Enjoy the whole process. It makes life richer and deeper on the inside so that you're living a life with yourself the way you would for someone else. It really can bring more wholeness to your whole life. And then we're not as people pleasing and relying on other people from the outside to validate us, right? If we're doing it already. So I hope that answers who asked me that. Kaylee, I hope that was an answer that helped. Okay. I've integrated yoga into my AM routine and take it outside. Oh, excellent. Meditate, breathe, and coffee. Seeing the stars change from to the dawn is amazing. Oh, I bet. Oh, if I could get up that early. I try to be barefoot in the lawn. That's lovely for sunset. Oh, I like your routines. Come visit. Okay. Okay. Hi, Jack. Okay. Oh. Okay. Could you give some more examples? Not sure if I'm getting it. Okay. So you drive yourself to work, right? Or wherever. Would you just get out of the car, slam the door if someone else drove you and walk away? No, you'd at least take a second to say, hey, thanks for the ride. Not that you have to be like, hey, thanks for the ride to yourself, but acknowledging appreciation that you got yourself somewhere, that you did that for you. That's one thing. When you shower, don't take in the negative. Take the negative and let it wash away. All right. Make sure when you're in there doing your thing, make it pleasant. Turn the water the way you like it. Get the shampoo that you like. Get it set up for yourself so you like it. But at the same time, keep your thoughts away from toxic people. It's sometimes when you've had toxic people in your life, and you still do, is the only place you get privacy, right? It's the only place you can be alone with your thoughts sometimes, in that shower, right? So let it be a place of pure thought for yourself. Intention toward, I'm going to, do some nice things for myself today. This is a pleasant experience in the shower, whatever it is, but not the nagging things that are in your head that your mind wants to go to because we're used to the negative thought patterns. Does that make sense? So it's keeping your thoughts cleaner, and it's easy to remember because you're cleaning yourself, right? That's another way. Paying attention to what you do for yourself. You get your clothes out, you lay them out, you put them on. Well, if you're just throwing them around and you're not paying any attention, then you're just putting clothes on. But if you think about it, if you were to dress a little child or something, you might do so kind of delightfully and like, oh, look how sweet they look. You put some love toward the child that you're dressing while you're dressing them. So do it for yourself. It may feel silly, but you'll find the things that work and the things that feel silly, and let go of the silly ones and use the ones that work. That's what I mean by self-care. It strings it along through the day that way. And then when you do things like, I'm going to take myself to lunch, you're actually there and you're present with yourself eating that lunch instead of just expecting it to fill all your needs. Does that make sense? Hope that's better. Let's see. Okay. We are all on the nature today. I love it. Okay. I don't like mornings either, but I would get up for that. I should. Sunrises are beauty too. Just okay. All right. Okay. So other things for balance. Well, we talked about finding joy, and that is important, especially when we're pulled under. I may be wrong, but to me, self-care includes things that make me feel good. Yes, exactly. It may be an hour-long dumb makeup tutorial. Doesn't have to be dumb. Or buying a fancy bottle. Yes, that too. The things that make you feel good, things that you're directing towards yourself. Yes. Finding balance is self-care. Paying attention where in your life is completely out of balance. I am not exercising or whatever. I'm not doing these things that I need to be doing to take care of myself. And then doing something about it is self-care. So it's just energy going back towards yourself. So it's about being present in the moment. To me, it is a lot about being present in the moment, because otherwise you go buy yourself that fancy bottle, or you go watch that tutorial, and then you just feel nothing, or you feel empty, or you feel guilty. But if you Bottle of wine. I figured that's what you meant. Watching ants with a 4-year-old for an hour, things like that oh, see? Yeah. Yeah. And it's because you're finding joy in that moment, right? That makes it so wonderful. Because you could look at ants and hate it, or you could look at ants and think this is really delightful. It's because I'm experiencing this with this child, or it makes me feel like a child, or whatever it is. You're connecting to the moment. So yes, it is a lot about being present in the moment with positivity and yourself. So it's remembering you're there in the moment, taking care of yourself and enjoying it. Okay. As much as you can. It's not always, I mean, your life isn't, always just enjoyable. Oh, I got blurry. Okay. Is it going to work? There. Okay. Okay. So what else? Stop the people-pleasing behavior that totally drains your life away and gets you way out of balance when you are not applying boundaries and you're not focusing on doing things for people when you choose to versus out of expectation or feeling like you should. So that's again, another topic, but pay attention to the people-pleasing behavior because it really will throw you out of balance. So if you feel like something's pulling you out of balance, it happens. It happens and it will happen. But to sustain life that way is probably not healthy, right? Okay. Okay. Okay, good. Examples of self-care are being thrown up there. Excellent. Okay, let's see. What else do I have here? Oh, well, we kind of talked about this, but connecting with yourself and others and nature, we did talk about that, is important. So setting goals. When you are a bottle of wine, Lise? Neural pathways, Lise. I don't know what you're talking about. Sure. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Okay. When you are setting your goals, when you're seeing your life broken down, if you have a journal or just get a piece of paper or whatever, write it out. Sometimes it helps to write this stuff out and look at it on, I know you're being silly. Look at it, squirrels and wine and all that. Okay. I think the disassociation is so deeply ingrained into me since I was 13. When my dad died, I'm 29. It had bled into the areas of my life. Yes, we have to learn to feel again. We have to. It's safe to feel. Feelings hurt and they don't hurt and they're pleasant. Okay. It does make it hard to be present when you can't. I get this. This dissociation is a skill, right? And we get really good at it. We get really numb from it often. So in that case, if you work with your senses, it can help. What smells good? What do I notice that I'm smelling right now? Walk on an autumn day. There's all kinds of smells out there. All kinds of, I don't know where you live, but all kinds of trees changing colors if that's in your area. There's cooler air, most places, not everywhere. There's cooler air, there's shorter days. There's things to notice that bring you into the present moment in the world around you. So use nature as a healer in that sense because it's out there and you can experience your senses through it without a whole lot of drama. Right? Unless you're caught in a rainstorm and it's terrible, or you're caught in some horrible, thing with nature. Do it safely and soundly, and then that won't happen. And that can help you get into the present moment in a different way that is safe for you. But there's still trees there, a little bit, maybe, and slightly cooler-ish, shorter days for sure. Yeah, find what's natural in your area to pay attention to what it feels like and smells like, and then, go taste something and pay attention to the taste. Have scents and smells and things like that around you, things to feel like a soft sweater or whatever that bring you into a comfortable place. That's self-care for sure. Something that you enjoy having it around you senses wise is a big self-care tip. So, okay. Working at being more present within this group, wishing you a lovely day and wishing you one as well. And thank you for what you said, because you brought a lot to this discussion today. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Somebody asked a question. What are neural pathways and how do you change them? That is, if you think of it, it's like grooves in your brain. I'm not going to get technical here because I don't know the technical. All right. So think of it like grooves in your brain. And that's the way our thoughts work. Our thoughts go to the way a pattern is, the way our minds think so that we can function, right? Is we create patterns in our mind. Neural pathways. I just going like this because to me they're circles, right? And you have a stimulus and then a reaction, automatic. Once you have created a pattern or a belief or a process that you're used to doing, those don't change. So that's why we have a trigger, and we automatically have these feelings and thoughts associated with it, because it's like a groove worn in your brain. We're going round and round, and it just deepens and deepens every time you continue on that pathway. So the brain has amazing neuroplasticity, which can actually create new neural pathways. And that is through creating new patterns in your life and new thought processes. So every time you do any of these activities, anytime you say, okay, I'm going to take a walk and I'm going to notice, the smell tonight of the air, or I'm going to notice the colors of the leaves. I'm going to pay attention with my eyes. Then you're training your brain to be looking externally for things that bring in the present moment in that way, versus the thoughts that are in your head when you're walking, right? So you're training your brain to do something different. And if you do it enough, then your brain starts doing it. Like I go out and there are certain things I'm always looking for. The feeling of connection is always, it's not always present, but it's easier to access because it's how I've taught my brain to think. Does that make sense? So the neural pathways are changed. You can change them, but it takes time because you have to do it enough time to create that groove, so to speak, in the thoughts, right? Okay. Like a path in the forest that has been worn through. Many people walk in the forest. Kinda, yeah. It's a path that it's the quickest. It's weird to think our brain can change like that. Isn't it fascinating and beautiful that we can do that? But it makes sense, because otherwise, if we were like, it's what keeps you safe from the tigers, right? It's what keeps us safe from things. It's a natural safety mechanism, right? And it's a natural, otherwise our brains would be so overwhelmed with paying attention to everything that's going on. We wouldn't have any room for cognitive function. We'd have no room for anything else. We'd be consumed. We have to have this fascinating ability in place. The problem is, and when we get stuck with beliefs and we get stuck with patterns in our life that are unhealthy, then we have to break it and change it. And it's work, because your brain wants to go to the path of least resistance, which is the deeper groove. So you gotta like hop out of there. You picture yourself like hopping out of it and trying something new. But that's also why when we try something new, our lives expand, right? We create new neural pathways, and if you can create a life of trying to learn and grow through trying new things, through experiencing new things, through being present, that becomes the mode of operation versus the one that is the one you're not really doing too well in, right? So it just takes time, and I can't remember how long, months of practice just to create them. I think I'd have to look it up. I thought it was 90 days to create new neural pathways of regular change, regular repetition. Isn't it? Yeah. We do all have different wiring harnesses. It is fascinating. How long does it take? A few months. Let's put it that way. I don't know the exact science on it. It takes months. That's okay. Because what have we been doing for the past years? Not changing them. We have been changing them. We just haven't been doing it intentionally, right? Or with knowing that's what we're doing. It really does work. It does take time, and it takes effort and repetition. And remember that failure is part of it, and the process is slow. And you're looking at life is a huge thing. It's not one thing. It's all these pieces that get out of balance. So it is like changing a habit. Yes, it is changing a habit. Basically, it's changing a habit through creating the new neural pathways is what it is. Yes, and that's why the habits are there to begin with, because they're a set groove that's like, bam, I don't have to think about it anymore. It already happens. It's natural, right? Why? Because we've repeated it. We've repeated it so our brains know that I do this thing and then that happens and I don't have to think anymore. I can go on to thinking about everything else instead. Okay, so how long do I have? Oh, got like 4 minutes. Anybody have any other questions or anything they want to talk about? Is it instinctive or learned? I think it's both. I think it's instinctive for that to happen, but the choosing to put certain things in place is a learned behavior, right? It's also conditioning, right? People put it in there. That's why we have these conditioned responses. It's the way our brains work. Yes. How can it help stop anxiety? Yes. Rather than medicating. I don't know about, the need for medication would have to talk to a professional who offers that as an option. But it absolutely can help with anxiety. Did you know about this when you were with your, yes, I did know about neural pathways. Uh-huh. Yeah, I did. We think at the same time we can combat it with knowing, and we really can't. It does. I think that anything that you're doing to focus on being present, focus on being calm, focus on I don't. Anxiety is a bigger one. Maybe I should talk about anxiety this week, because I was looking for a topic today. I'm going to write that down. Anxiety. Okay, because that's a bigger topic, but it does have a lot to do with the way the brain works as well. All right. Yes, you're changing the muscle memory in your brain. Exactly. I've read changing a habit takes 21 days. It seems to take way longer. Changing a habit takes 21 days, but I believe creating new neural pathways so that habit becomes automatic is something like 90 days. I could be totally off there. And I may be quoting someone who told me that, not actually science. So I have to look it up to get the actual numbers, but it takes months to create the change that comes more automatic, if that makes sense. Okay, we'll talk about anxiety Thursday then. That sounds good. Doesn't sound good, but yeah, it sounds great. Anxiety and ways to help. Okay. What else are you asking? I get waves of anxiety. With anxiety, what has helped me tremendously is taking long walks and not focusing on, I'll spend, 10, 15 minutes while I'm warming up, thinking about whatever it is I want to think, or whatever it is my brain is automatically thinking about. And then I choose what to think about for the rest of the walk. Usually it's through putting on music, or I'll have a thought about, that's how I often will start, what am I trying to say? Taking notes on what I want to talk about here, things like that, where I'll put my focus on something directed on the walk. And when I'm doing that while I'm moving, it seems to take the anxiety way down. So, but everyone is different, but I can't say it would be bad. And also there's levels of anxiety. There was a time that would not be possible. Eliminating the toxic people helps a lot too. Okay. All right. Play guitar. Yeah, yes, the new finger movements, doing something that is emotional and uses your brain at the same time. Musical instruments, singing, dance, sports that are, especially non-competitive sports that are one person, you're with yourself in it, so that you are just kind of able to focus on you. things like that are really good for all of this stuff, for creating balance, for lowering the stress levels, and for helping curb the anxiety. All right. Going for a walk with the dog, that too. Okay. Let me see if I missed anything here real quick. Let's see. Okay, another thing with, before I have to go here, unless there's, okay, could I address social anxiety as well? Yes, anxiety and social anxiety. Okay, if I don't write it down, I will forget, so I got it. Okay, can't walk too far, and that's okay. You know what? Pain, so if you can't walk, is there any movement you can do? Can you sit in a chair and wave your arms around and dance to music with your fingers? You know what I mean? Like something to move your body with sound, with expression can help. Let's see, it helps the brain, I think. Play an instrument instead, play, it doesn't have to be a fancy one. Play any, yeah. Okay, you dance, good. All right. I play violin, I sing, and a little guitar, yay. Isn't it a great, it's not, okay, change the focus of that from it's a distract, or you don't have to. My suggestion is, instead of that being a distraction, be that the greatest source of self-love and care that you can give yourself. Because that is not a distraction to me. That is a joyful experience to be able to play your music that you're capable of doing, that you've been given this talent and this gift for, that you've worked to achieve, all of that, and to be able to just express with it is super amazing. And that's like, it is a distraction, sure, but it's also a pouring out of, I don't know, it's community, it's sharing, it's all the things all wrapped up. Music is great like that, especially when you're with other people. You like to write poetry and songs. See, you guys got it. You got it. You're getting it. All right. I know. I love all the creativity. Creativity was on here too. That's part of our life. So yeah. Okay. So balance. I hope that gave a little bit of ideas for finding balance, finding where we're out of balance. And I really do have to go, but finding where we're out of balance, finding ways to recognize how to put some balance into each area. And then overall, how to see which area is, like, there may be things you're just not putting any focus into that would be good to pour a little into, and you can find ways to do it, but write it out, journal it, see what's going on in your life, like a map. And when you're overwhelmed, that can help, because then you can pick a piece. If that overwhelms you to do it, then don't do it. Right? But if it starts to feel like, oh, I'm totally seeing where I am pouring everything into one area and nothing into anything else. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll feel better if I don't do that. All right. You're welcome. What did we say here? Okay, yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so I'll see you guys Thursday. We'll talk about anxiety and social anxiety. Anything that you may have about that, any questions or anything you want me to cover or talk about or think about beforehand, put it in the comment section of this video if you don't mind, not the chat. It's so that I have it for Thursday going in, so I can have something to think about anxiety that's personal to you. Okay. All right. I'm just reading. Okay. All right. You guys take care, and I will see you Thursday. If you would like text notifications of my going live, text me at 33222. Put the word Lise Live, LISE, one word, and hit send, and I will text you 10 minutes prior to going live so you don't miss the live streams. You can please hit subscribe if you enjoy this. Hit the thumbs up, and I think that's it. If you need information on coaching, I'm over at queenbeing.com. Everything's in the main description of every video. The group coaching, again, it starts again every beginning of every month. You can join at any time, but new people tend to come in all at once, so it's kind of nice to start together. Starts tomorrow, and that is for anyone who is needing group coaching, and anywhere. And I have different times, so anywhere in the world can kind of fit if you maybe just if you look at the time. So there's that. Okay, I think that's it. Business covered. Hi, Mo Cowboy. I didn't say hi. Hi. Um, all right. Okay. That's it. You guys take care. I'll see you Thursday. Bye.